Hey YouTube! I wonder, are GMO foods good? Alright, so I'm in this class right now, biotech. Our current unit is GMO foods, and so I've been learning a lot of stuff about GMO foods. A lot of cool stuff. I came into this class not knowing too much about GMO foods, heard some bad stuff about them, so it kind of gave me this thought that I had coming into it that GMO foods were not great. But when my friends were arguing about it a few months ago about how bad they were, I didn't really comment on it because I think it's dumb to argue about something if you don't know too much about it. If you want to hate something, I think you gotta know enough to hate it. And maybe you'll even figure out that you like it after doing so much research. And with GMO foods, I kind of figured out it's kind of like grayish whether or not they're good or bad. There's definitely parts of it that I agree and disagree with, but I'll try and give you like non-biased facts to the best of my ability because I definitely think that's important. I'll be looking at both sides of the argument, even though I'll be kind of more swayed towards one of them. But in school, this Friday, we're going to have a discussion, and I still have to do research for it. My group is on pesticides and herbicide, creating genetically modified plants, and kind of the effects of those. So I've been doing research on this, nowhere close to being done with the amount of research I need to have done. But if you have any questions, I might be able to answer them. We're also having a person coming in from Monsanto, which is a place not very many people like. Some people call it Monsatan because they've had some genetically modified foods that were not very good. But the person that's coming will be completely honest, even though she'll be biased towards GMO foods. And if you have questions and I don't know them, I could definitely ask her or do some research so you don't have to do the research yourself. And being able to ask someone that works in it is definitely good. So GMO foods, there's definitely like certain lines that people try to draw with the GMO foods, and it's kind of difficult to draw that line because there's definitely good things that come out of GMO foods. Some people might argue even against that and say GMO foods are wrong, period. It's against evolution and science or whatever. It's against our religions of GMO foods. It's unnatural. People shouldn't be doing it. But there's good things that come out of it. There's golden rice, which is rice that's rich with vitamin A. It kind of looks golden, and that's why they call it golden rice. It actually helps kids that are in third world countries get their source of vitamin A, although it's not being heavily used yet because it needs to go under quite a bit of testing, just because of you don't want to have something that has severe problems that you think is awesome and causes horrible problems. And this is definitely one of the biggest part with GMO foods is whether or not food will be dangerous in the long run. Because you could prove something is dangerous. That's something you can definitely do. You can prove that jumping off of a building is dangerous because you see someone jump off, they die. You know it's dangerous. But you can't ever prove 100% that something is safe. Even like maybe shirts. We think shirts are 100% safe, but maybe one day they'll all come alive and eat us, and it's just time ticking away, and that's the apocalypse, is a bunch of shirts eating people. People would definitely agree though that shirts are safe, and you kind of have to make this personal assumption, like, okay, this is safe, this isn't safe, and it's unreasonable to just say, hey, you can't prove this is safe, therefore it's not safe, because you can't prove anything is safe. Yet this is what people are arguing with. It is fair though, GMO foods have been around for, I don't know, somewhere around a few decades, and people think like that's still not enough time to test. Kids that are growing up now are eating more GMO foods, and we may not see the effects until they're old people and we figure out that GMO foods cause Alzheimer's 98% of the time. This probably isn't the case, and GMO foods are the most heavily tested foods ever for safety. Some of them have been like modified to be a certain way, and then they figure out that that would have caused allergies to certain people when it originally didn't. And you know, there's where the danger comes in. You might accidentally bypass this step and someone might get an allergic reaction to GMO foods. This kind of leads into another discussion of GMO foods. This discussion is, how should GMO foods be labeled? Some people don't think that they should be labeled because it will make costs rise, but I do think that they should at least be labeled in some way. It doesn't have to be in like bright red capital letters on the front, "This is a GMO food, it's horrible." Or, well, not horrible, just say GMO food, like big bright red letters. It doesn't have to be that. But it could just be in the nutrition facts. You know, all food already has nutrition facts, and candy that doesn't have nuts in it but is produced in a factory that has nuts in it will put like a disclaimer on the candy wrapper or something that says made in a factory with nuts or may contain nuts, just for the safety of people. And I think it's fair that GMO foods should be held to the same standard. They don't have to be held to a higher standard or a lower standard, but it's fair to assume that they should be held at the same standard of just label them how they are. If they're modified with pig skin, like a tomato with pig skin, say it. It could just be little letters, and only people that are really reading through it to check for stuff will notice it, so it's not like it'll be super controversial, and I'm sure that people on both sides could at least agree on this, because it's, you know, kind of a compromise between both sides. But then there's some GMO foods that are just like going back to the tomato with the pig skin, DNA with it, to make the skin of the tomato tougher. Some people might think like, oh, that's horrible. That makes the pigs like tomato pigs, and that just sounds gross to us. I don't want to eat a tomato pig. What is it, a pig or a tomato? It's still a tomato. Humans share 50% of their DNA with a banana, but you don't ask, are we bananas or people? We're people. And maybe it's like part of our like brain natural like instincts of thinking that tomatoes infused with pig DNA is bad, and maybe it is. Maybe there's like something with our instinct that we should be listening to, or maybe it's just we don't like change, and having these GMO foods is going against not liking change, and that's wrong to us, even though maybe it isn't, and we're just getting all hyped up about something that isn't even that bad. And maybe if a tomato is a little bit more pig, that might be a good thing. It makes it so it can travel further distances and maybe get to some village that needs like foods, and getting tomatoes to them might help them with their nutrition. But we weren't able to do it in the past because the driving is too bumpy for the tomatoes, and they all bruise and get all gross by the time they get there. Maybe it's like a good thing that you do that. But once again, maybe it's something with our brains and it's wrong to do this. It's kind of hard to say. So definitely my stance on GMO foods is there's good to it, there's bad to it. It's kind of hard to say whether it's completely bad or maybe it's completely good. It's definitely the most tested food for a reason, because people don't trust it. Maybe we need to be a little more trusting of GMO foods, learn a little bit more about them. Maybe we'll figure out in 30 years that we should have never trusted them. Maybe we should have figured out that we should have trusted them a long time ago, because it could help with world hunger. There's just so much to learn about them. I think GMO foods are a lot more incredible than they sound to be, whether they're good or bad. So yeah, that's it. See you later, YouTube.